Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Today we're going to jump into a topic um, caused, triggered by black guilt. Let me think of a way to phrase this. Ladies and gentlemen, my beautiful black Americans, we have adopted guilt by what our sister Onthespotts brilliantly calls by proxy. Dr. Shahrazad Ali talked about it this way. She said, the black woman has had no role model but for the white woman, right? Sisters, that's not your fault. You've been force fed. Um, the white woman, white Barbies, if you're a certain age. I'm an 80s baby, and I remember my big sister had to play with white Barbies. It was in the 90s, I started seeing a chocolate Barbie here and there. But we were forced to watch European Caucasian television shows, and we adopted European morality. Now let me get some Bobby Hemmett on y'all right quick. According to Bobby Hemmett, morality was created by the Moors for Europeans because the European is the newest person on the planet Earth and didn't know right from wrong. Did y'all just hear what I just said? Let me say it again. According to Bobby Hemmett, morality was created by the Moors for Europeans because, according to Bobby, Europeans are the newest people on Earth, and the Moors were trying to teach them right from wrong. They didn't know right from wrong. What am I saying? I'm saying morality never applied to you, Black American, Black person, Black man. We know, right? Well, unfortunately, like Wani put it, by proxy, we've inherited a lot of guilt for raping and ravaging the world, which we never done. I did a poll earlier today while I had a break from lecture, and it really warmed my heart when somebody responded to the poll. The poll was similar to the title, and somebody responded to the poll and was like, I'm paraphrasing this person, but they were like, not only should FBAs not feel guilty, we're prisoners of war. We're literally prisoners of war that's never had a genocide on people. Oh man, our beautiful, wonderful brother, and I'm saying beautiful personality. What the kids say, pause. But I think Dick Gregory's personality. Dick Gregory is he's an inspiration to me. He always has been. And Dick Gregory said that the Black American has been washed clean of all sins from that transatlantic slave trade and this experience to America. We're like one of the only, if not the only, innocent group of people. So why in the fuck are we feeling guilty? We're feeling guilt by proxy. Wani, could you explain guilt by proxy?
Yes, it seems to be like a phenomena, and I know my mom had it. She was like super guilty, and people would say, you get to rest your head on a clean pillow, and other people are laying in the dirt, and we have clean water, and people are starving, and you have to finish your plate. And so a lot of these things started to build up, but we never stopped and gave it much thought that we earned our place here. We shouldn't be feeling guilty. Now, if we want to be charitable, of course we can. There's nothing wrong with helping people. But for us to feel the same guilt that white people feel about people in other countries being brutalized by their circumstances that they caused, but we didn't think like that at the time. We didn't say that Africans caused their own circumstances, that they should have been dealing with the devil and adopting other people's religions and thinking that they were going to get a fair shake with that European. They had experience with foreigners, and none of their experiences worked out very well. The same type of thing happened with Arabs. Their interactions with Arabs were often unfavorable to them. And so they should have known that they really weren't in a place to barter with these foreigners. But I think that when you are not very in tune with what's happening, you're not smart enough to think your way out of some of these situations. But we should not feel guilty. We have paid our dues. Our lineage has paid more dues than anyone uh, can imagine, hundreds of years of dues. So we don't have to feel guilty when we lay our head on our pillows. Our ancestors fought for us to be able to live in a clean, safe country, lay our heads on our pillows, and have food to eat. We paid for everything that we've received, so we should not feel guilty. But again, I just want to say, I'm not against people being charitable and helping. It's just that I'll be helping close to home.
Right, right. What we're doing, and, thank you, Wani, for so eloquently describing that. And what we're doing, Black Americans, and I'm so outrageously grateful that I'm alive during this period, is we're awakening and we're having sympathy and understanding and long suffering for our own children, for each other. And I'm very honored to be a part of this time period. What we're not doing is feeling sorry for people who don't feel sorry for us. And we're not feeling sorry for or assisting outsiders. The baby boomer generation has made it cute to not feed your own kids and go feeding somebody else's child. I'm doing research to find out why the baby boomers got swept up into that. But I don't know why. I have theories, but I know that it was, and we're trying to reverse that. So let's deal with the title. Should FBAs feel guilty for the poverty in Africa? Should FBAs feel guilty for the genocide in Africa? Should FBAs feel guilty about the um, third world status of a lot of places in West Africa? Or should Africans feel guilty for FBAs? What I put in there that didn't have room is hashtag you got us fucked up because Africans should feel guilty about FBAs. Hashtag you got us fucked up. Why do you got us fucked up? You got us fucked up because according to Dr. Claude Anderson, the self-destructive attitudes of tribal chiefs have yet to be fully explained or understood. Historian Norman Cohns offered one explanation as to why chiefs so willingly traded their valuable resources to European and Arab traders. According to Combs, African tribal chiefs willingly participated in such questionable trade practices because West African economies were substance based and therefore people were satisfied with the status quo and saw no need to accumulate wealth and power. What Norman Combs said basically is African tribal chiefs were fucking idiots. And they were showing off to Europeans who just came out the Young Dryas, starved half to death, who engaged in cannibalism, who had a warlike posture and a warlike mind. And these goddamn fools was up here saying, "Look at me. I'm so big and bad. I'm going to give you people. I'm so above these people that I'm going to give them to you as a gift." Dr. Claude Anderson further says the self destructive attitudes of tribal chiefs have yet to be fully explained or understood. But he says white traders took advantage of the white traders took advantage of the tribal chiefs' generosities. This self-destructive tribalism, self-enslavement, and lack of concern for wealth was interpreted by Europeans as signs of inferiority. The Europeans saw these people, these damn fools, giving away their cousins, and said, "Wow, these people are not too smart. They don't know how valuable a human life is." And then the Birdman hand rub commenced. Dr. Claude Anderson says, quote, "They believe that these uncivilized, childlike heathens, his words, neither appreciated nor deserved their God-given wealth. Consequently, whites rationalized it as their moral duty to take and utilize Africa's wealth and put blacks to productive works as slaves. That shit backfired on these damn fool African tribal chiefs. And they
Um,
ended up the meal." Dr. John Henry Clark said the African invited the European to the table, and he became the meal. What you got, Wani?
I was just gonna say, I was gonna ask Dan, what happened to that other domesticated African, CJ? Did he get tired of hearing this discussion?
I don't know. I
You
don't
know
know.
him? You know who I'm speaking of?
I think I do, but I haven't really interacted with him that much.
Mm-hmm. You're the only ones that are civilized on the app, and you don't know each other?
Yeah, I actually don't know him like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I also have a question for Dan, Wani, when you're done. Um, Dan,
Yes,
for
sir.
I'm an '80s baby, and since my childhood, I've been made by the powers that be in this United States and this Western culture. as our sister Wani called it, guilt by proxy, to feel sorry for people in the Africa, feel sorry for the starving children in Africa, feel sorry for the third world conditions of West Africa and certain parts of East Africa. My question to you, sir, is: do you think that I should feel sorry for Africa, or do you think that Africans should feel sorry for me for fucking selling me to a savage? What are your thoughts on that, sir?
I think we should both feel sorry for ourselves. That's my personal take. I do feel sorry for Black Americans. That's why I'm never rude, because I understand the history, I understand the oppression that happened to Black Americans, and I understand there's no need to attack or be offensive to Black Americans. Because even if you guys say some fucked up stuff, I understand what happened. So that's
You
my
feel
personal
sorry
take.
for Black Americans. You said you feel sorry for Black Americans because of oppression
Hmm.
we went through. So why should
Yeah,
someone come over here and take advantage of our resources? Do you support African people coming over here and taking advantage of our resources, our culture, anything that we have, like our music, our
I,
awards?
hmm I think
You
there's
feel sorry for
limits.
us, but
Hmm. Yeah, I
there's a
think there's
limit. Should you take
limits.
advantage of anything that belongs to us?
No, okay, so I think there's limits. I think um, culture is a tool, right? And Black Americans have a culture that has allowed them to be integrated in the American economy, to be influential, to make money, to have good lives, and things of that nature. So, if an African comes to America, I think the most logical thing would be to assimilate to that culture and take the good out of it. And I think the mistake that some of them make is that they don't they don't appreciate the foundation that Black Americans have set historically in America for them to assimilate to.
Why don't they believe that we have schools? Why do they have, in almost all immigrants feel that the white boy was just being nice? Oh, here's some civil rights because we're uncivilized and we need those. And here's some cute little schools for you guys to go to.
It's miseducation. It's and I think miseducation is forgivable. But that's my personal take. Okay, I think miseducation is forgivable because it's an agenda. It's if they
I
knew better,
don't
they would
feel
know
I don't
better,
feel
basically.
it's forgettable. It's absolutely
And that's fine.
unforgivable
That's your
because they
opinion.
refuse to. I have to block them
Hmm.
because they just sit there and say, "Oh no, the white man built all the buildings," and it's because they know they can't do anything, so they feel like I have to put you down because I'm not able to do it. I have to imagine that every building that I see, like the White House that was built twice, they have to fantasize that that was built by a white man because if it wasn't, if Benjamin Banneker and other architects built it, then what does that say to someone coming from an area that doesn't have any types of buildings like that? What does that say?
You see, I think what sometimes I don't hear in these conversations is the fact that the the white Americans benefit from pushing such narratives, and they are the ones that push it, in the
But
sense that
The Africans benefit
mhm,
from pushing the narrative because they're the
no,
same
they don't.
person.
But they don't know that they don't benefit from that narrative because they get an immediate reward for it, which is being able to quote unquote assimilate and benefit from the system. And that system is sick at its core. So
Well, Dan, this is my thing, bro, and I will say, um, let me say it this way, Dan, don't you think that West Africans deserve the West Africans owe foundational Black Americans an apology for
um
selling us for their tribal leaders, tribal chiefs selling us into that slave trade?
I think First of all, I think some countries have apologized, and I think some tribal leaders have apologized and reached out.
Apologize with your
But I
pockets.
think, sorry.
Apologize with your pockets.
Exactly.
Now,
Um.
I'm going to ask
Okay.
a quick
So.
question.
Uh
Let me ask a quick
huh.
question. Would it be weird if the son of or the grandson of a Nazi gave a tour to Jewish people around Auschwitz
The great son of who?
of a Nazi soldier?
Oh. Um.
Would that make sense if they gave a
You see,
tour
here's the
around?
issue. There's Black Americans right now who are um
Mhm,
doing the tour, like being tour guides at all the castles, as much as I can tell.
mhm.
I've
Black
forgotten the name
Americans.
of one of them, but
Oh no, no, no,
Black
no,
Americans.
Dan,
No.
Dan,
What the hell?
Dan,
Professor,
Dan.
you've not seen that?
You know, sir, you're talking to one who's been to
No.
them all, and it's always been an African tour guide there. And I've been finessed left and right. I mean, I'm sure my audience is sick and tired of seeing a picture where I'm having to hide my goddamn camera because they tried to charge me twice as press. Number one, they charged me to get into the goddamn castles. Why are you charging me to get into a castle that you sold my daddy's family from?
Yeah,
That's not
because
apologetic,
I
Dan.
think
can't you waive that
my
fee?
take, my conclusion from all this is a bit
Mhm.
different. I don't even think those castles need to be there still. I don't
Oh, I
think they.
do. Auschwitz needs to be there, and those castles need to be there, and those doors of no return.
I think
Or
there's
else
just something
you
sick
guys
about
will
those
lie and
castles. I
say they
don't know.
never
That's me
existed.
personally.
So that's why we have to do it because people lie and they'll say, "Oh, that picture's fake. Oh, that is real.
I th-
Oh no, they just."
I think there's other ways of documenting,
So,
these
so
things.
you didn't answer. Do you feel it would be inappropriate for the relative of a Nazi to tour someone around a concentration camp and say they did this over here, they did that over there?
Yes, it would, but I get what you're going, but you can't say that the tour guides are related to people who were slave traders. You
Well,
don't know
they're
that.
from the area, aren't they?
Not
Why do
necessarily.
you guys think you're ghosts and that you could just disappear? Like, oh, those countries
Let
didn't
me let
exist.
me
So,
let me be
oh,
honest
those
with you,
tribes didn't exist. Why do you do that? And then
Wani. Let me be honest with you for a second.
at the same time,
There's
you try to get reparations for yourselves under those countries and tribes that you say
Wani,
were not. Yes.
please listen. There's something that maybe you don't know, so I'm going to say here. Um, there's names of these people who participated in the trade. It's documented under the Royal African Company, which is a British company. There was black people who worked for that company. There was
Africans, you mean?
Europeans, sure, Africans.
They're not black. Black
No
is
problem.
a word that
No
we
problem.
adopted.
No problem. No problem. So there's names for all of that. And I bet that most of these descendants of those people ended up
Well,
becoming merchants and ended
okay.
up
uh,
probably leaving
I
Africa. So
understand
those
what you're
people are
saying.
probably not even in Africa anymore.
Okay, but a
So
lot of
those are the people
times,
who you need to get reparation
a
for.
lot of times you guys. But then why are you trying to get reparations
Um, I,
for?
I, I don't think we should get reparations for slavery. I think we should
But
get
you're,
reparations for
but you're
colonization.
trying. No, no, you shouldn't because you welcomed them in, and you
We
didn't
did not.
do.
My
You
people
did.
fought 4 wars against the British.
Let's go to this new hand for a
Yeah,
moment.
I'm not done with Dan. I'm gonna come back around
Yeah,
to
yeah,
him, but
no problem.
I'm coming back to you. But I want to hear from the great socialist. Great socialist. What's on your mind?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just answering the title. Should FBAs feel guilty for Africa? Should Africans feel guilty for FBAs? No, I don't. I don't think you should feel guilty about anything.
So why don't you think? Do you understand the issue, sir? African tribal chiefs is initiated the slave trade by being the first to sell their own kind.
But
To
they didn't sell their own kind though. They sold rival ethnic groups.
You
They didn't
see
sell
his
their own
country,
people.
right? You see his
You see,
country.
No,
yeah.
Oh, okay, I got you. There you
They're
go. There.
currently
Okay.
selling human
Well,
beings, so
well
they don't think
Wani,
it's
I got a
interesting.
question for him. You call yourself a socialist? Are you explain your name? Are you socialist? Are you Marxist?
No, I got that name, the Great Social, the title, character.
You breaking up?
Can you hear me?
Are you in Mauritania?
Yeah, that's why my Wi-Fi is kind of fucked up right now. Sorry about that.
It's
Or is that
okay.
where you're from?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to understand this from you and Dan both. Um, Given the fact that your leaders under the
Who's my
territory,
who's my leaders?
your African leaders from the
I'm
west.
from, but I'm from Mauritania. We didn't participate in
Relax.
the.
You,
Go ahead, go ahead.
Calm down, sir. I'm
Okay,
not.
excuse
okay.
me.
I'm not talking over you, sir. Mauritania did not exist during the time period I'm talking about. Mauritania was fully emerged in the trade of during the transatlantic slave trade, and your some of your tribal chiefs who probably are in have status and royalty now were involved in the transatlantic slave trade. I could show you the map. Given that fact that your leaders were involved with the selling of human beings and they benefited from it in some way, don't you think that the descendants of the human beings that they sold should reap benefits from Mauritania and other places in West Africa?
Okay.
I can answer
No,
that for you.
Dan,
I'm
relax,
coming.
Mauritania
man.
I'm coming
wasn't
to you. Hold
involved.
on,
Relax,
Dan. I'm coming to
Dan.
you.
Okay,
Hold
okay,
on,
okay.
Dan.
How about this, man? How about this? For reparations, we'll give you some land and more.
Don't talk about no, 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 no,
I'm
no, no, no. Don't say reparations.
okay. So what? Okay, okay. Okay. I won't say
Don't use. I don't
reparations.
want to hear an African use that
Okay,
word.
so as guilt, right? We'll give as I'm offering land for Black America's Mauritania, but
Land, like, sir. You know what?
You don't even have a
I'm
pot.
answering his
Ten.
question. I'm
offer.
Hold
answering your
up.
question. Can I
10
at
to
least
20.
finish?
10. No, 10 to 20% of your population of 3.4 million people are enslaved in real slavery right
Yeah,
now.
so that's
Yes.
why I'm giving you guys the land.
Why would we want to live with a bunch of weirdos?
Yeah, that's why I'm offering the land.
You
Like
might put
you just
our asses back in slavery.
yeah,
I
that's
might
why I'm
end up
offering the
being
Free.
in
land. In
caves.
return, you guys can fight off the
I
Baidown
wouldn't live
Arabs and
near
get the
you
land.
crazy motherfuckers
That would
ever.
be
There's nothing
your
that would.
reparations for slavery.
How can
I
you?
want to identify to my room. I'm allowing him because I'm using him. I'm stooging him. I want to use him as a teaching tool. I want y'all to know that, like Sister Wani said, slavery is going on in Mauritania right fucking now. So
It was
why?
abolished in 1981.
Listen, we'll give you 40 acres and a camel, man. Like I'm
19.
down to do
I
that.
like camels. Now, wait a minute. He said camel. I like
He's
camels.
just making fun of the people.
No, I
He's
said,
just
hey, listen,
trolling.
we have camels in
No, wait
Mauritania.
a minute now. Let's not. Let's hear the man out. You said camels?
Yeah, like we'll give you 40 acres and a camel.
The
I
ones
think
with the
that's the
big
best
teeth?
way.
The ones with the big teeth?
Yeah, we'll give you one camel each.
The ones
You
you
can make.
guys are not. And are these camels that you guys dated or are these virgin camels?
Listen, that's the Arabs that sleep with camels, man. Listen, I'm a hard 10. We don't have sex with camels, man. Those are the Arabs,
Oh,
man.
oh, I bet I could pull up a picture.
A
Those are
camel.
the Arabs, man.
That's not what the camel told me. You said y'all
Nah,
have
it
sex
was
with
the
Oh,
cats.
Arabs
Not
that's
what the
oh,
listen.
camel
I'm a
told me.
black person, man. I'm a hard 10. We don't have sex with camels. Those are the Arabs.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm listen. I'm telling you 100% truth. We
I've
don't sleep
seen
with
your
camels.
porn. You guys got camel porn. Admit it.
It's the Arabs though. It's not the black people that are sleeping with camels.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we live. The universe is just and it's balanced. I want you to look at the status of these places that sold us just to show off. Again, Dr. Claude Anderson says, um, uh, white traders took advantage of tribal chiefs' generosities. This self destructive tribalism, self enslavement, and lack of concern for wealth were interpreted by the Europeans as signs of inferiority. Isn't that beautiful? So basically, what that means is these tribal chiefs, his descendants, his ancestors, sold some of our ancestors like they were trash. Um, like they were less than a child of God. And look at what happened in return. In return, a European peeped them as imbeciles, as idiots, and the wage that they got from this, I don't even know the word for this type of behavior, is a war torn land that where slavery still exists. If this is not karma, I don't know what to
But we
call
weren't
it.
involved in the transatlantic slave trade, brother. We
Oh,
were
come
involved
on,
in
man! You got the slave trade going right now. So what?
But
in the trans-Saharan slave trade. I can take
yeah,
part in
but
that, but the
yeah,
transatlantic, we had
yeah,
nothing to
yeah,
do with
yeah.
that, sir.
Same old
It's
thing.
not the
Right.
Bad
same thing.
morals.
I explained this before.
Bad
We
more.
were
It
involved in
is
selling people
bad
to
morals.
Arabs, man, not to the white man. You know,
Oh my
we sold to
God,
the
y'all
Bad
hear
Arabs.
this?
morals.
Am I hearing
Okay,
this?
Yeah, we
so
sold to
this.
the Arabs and the Berbers,
Hold
man,
on,
not
hold
to the
on, hold
white
on.
people, man.
This is why it's very
You
hard to get a
sound dumb as
genuine.
hell.
I'm
It's
This
just
hard to
being
get a
honest, man.
very.
Weren't
Wait,
involved in
whoa,
the
whoa, 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 whoa,
transatlantic slave
whoa.
trade, so we don't owe
Wait a
reparations to Black
second.
Americans.
Hold up. This is why it's impossible to get a genuine apology to anyone because they don't have any morals. The same reason why they sold people to begin with. They don't have any and they never
I
did
mean,
get any.
listen, man. I would sell criminals and prisoners of
Relax,
wars and thugs,
relax,
man. That's what we were selling.
relax, relax. Did he call me a thug? Because I'm about to
No,
really
I
be
didn't call
one.
you a thug.
Yeah,
I
yes,
said
you
that
did.
we
I'm
were.
gonna have to put
Get
the
in his
beat down
ass.
on your ass.
What I
Get
didn't
in his
say thug. I
ass.
didn't
You
call you a
don't
thug.
want to fight me,
I think you
okay?
did. I
No,
think I
this
heard
is what
something
I
like
I
said.
that to
think you
that
called
nature.
me a motherfucking
Yeah, he
I
thug.
didn't
called you
call
a
you a
thug,
thug,
Money. We
ma'am.
can't be
He
dealing
said
I
a
with
didn't call
people
you a
ghetto
with no
thug.
ass black
respect.
American. Yeah, I
Bitch.
heard
Nah,
him.
nah. You just added stuff up,
Yeah,
man.
he
That's
called
not
you
what
a
I
bitch
said.
too.
I can repeat what I said. I didn't call you a thug, ma'am. What I said was, we sold, the criminals and the thugs, man. I would sell criminals and thugs from Mauritania as well today.
Nah,
Well,
don't try
you
to change
right.
that shit
Yeah,
now.
man.
You
I
right.
would sell all
Because
the
I'm
criminals
about
in
to show
Mauritania,
you what a
export them to
thug
America
is.
right
You
now,
got
man.
you good. I'm glad you saw my lineage.
Yeah, so you should be
Ho.
happy. You should be thanking God
Get
that we
my
sold
ass
people
the fuck up
to
out of there so
America,
I don't
man.
whip your
Yeah.
ass.
Thank God for
Yeah, you made a
slavery.
good move. You made a good move.
We did,
Get
man.
me the
Thank
hell
God for
up out of
slavery.
there. Because I would stomp your ass. I know you're scrawny because they ain't got no food over there. I'll beat your ass.
Listen, man.
Put
We
your
may be
picture
scrawny,
up.
but
Put
we're
your
strong
picture.
people,
You
man.
ain't fat. You ain't got no girth.
Girth. What do you mean by girth, man? You talking about my penis size? Like, what are you talking about, man?
No, sir. Let's not get personal.
Don't nobody want to talk about your dry ass,
I mean,
skinny
Scrawny ass.
Ronnie
ass,
seems to like
skinny
African
penis. Don't
dudes,
Martanya.
man.
nobody
So
care
I'm
about
not
what you got.
surprised, man.
Look,
We
the
You
talking
got
to
a
some
reason why
African
unisex
dudes, man.
penis.
This dude's boring me. Y'all want to know anything else from him?
Nah, kick
no
him out the
Look, she's
classroom.
flirting with me, man. Look, she's flirting. She's laughing.
flirting.
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah,
I don't
yeah. I don't want to talk to him
understand that.
anymore. This joker literally just said that slavery is going on right now in 2025, but we didn't have nothing to do with the transatlantic slave trade. That's,
Right.
I mean, I can't even like dignify that with.
That's
And the
slavery.
thing is, I think he believes this too. Like, what's wrong with these people?
I don't think he believes it. They know what they doing. They know about what is that, Liberia? They got them, or they have some
All of
slaves
them.
there.
Well, they just playing both sides of the fence like the white people taught them to.
Yep.
Right, right, C Capone.
Now, why the hell does he want to come back? Okay, let's
Let
go
him
on to
come
the next
back. Come on,
topic.
let him. Yeah, we having fun.
Uh, let's move him right. We'll come back to the dude when. So Dan, I'm still waiting on an explanation as to, given the fact that it's a proven fact that West Africa sold FBAs into the slave trade, uh, subjecting them to outrageous cruelty, outrageous harm, and benefiting in some way. You know, they may have got broken mirrors and broken. What else they get, Wani? Broken umbrellas, but they benefited. So, given that fact, don't you think it's fair that West Africa gives some type of reparations to foundational Black Americans? I'll take gold. I'll take cocoa. I'll take dual citizenship. We need some in return.
Martania. Martania doesn't seem to have a lot of stuff. They have a camel and some sand.
I mean,
Camel
That's not
he
a
porn.
said
that's
40
not a
Somebody
acres
said
and a
good
that to make
thing.
it
camel.
camel porn.
Yep, they got camel porn. Yeah, I don't like their stuff.
But yeah, on a serious note, I do have an answer.
Okay.
It's simple. I already said it actually. Um, there's a company. It was called the Royal African Company, and there's names. You can find the descendants of the people. Most of them are probably like mixed race or maybe white at this point. Because I think most of them ended up immigrating
All the
to
African
Europe
chiefs are
or
white now. Yeah, that
America.
sounds right.
So yeah,
But Tinubu's
if you
family,
trace those
hold on.
companies, I
What
think
is
most of them
Tinubu?
for Ghana, for example.
Hold
Hold
on.
on,
Is
I'm just
Tinubu's family white now?
excuse me.
Is Tinubu's family white?
No,
You said all the tribal chiefs are now in Europe and they're now white.
no, I said majority.
Uh-huh.
Probably.
Madam Tinubu's ass family is right there looking just like bulldogs, just like she did.
I
Ugly.
mean, that's the thing though. Those people, maybe a lot of them had like a lot of children. Maybe not all of them would go to Europe or whatever. Maybe not all of them ended up inheriting the money. So, I mean, would you ask for reparations to a Tinubu who doesn't have any money? That would not make any sense, right? You would want to go after the ones that actually
They're
inherited
still
the money.
ruling. They're still ruling places, so they do have resources.
And from what I know, Madam Tinubu is not related to the President Tinubu.
You
It's
always
it's a
have
name.
some
It's
excuse.
always the
Okay.
excuses.
It's not an excuse. It's just a fact. Yeah, I'm just pointing that out.
Did you do her genealogy to see who she's related to?
Yeah, she has no children. She had no children.
Too busy selling human beings.
I mean, probably.
Yes, I'm putting in the jumbotron, ladies and gentlemen. A link. Well, I'm putting a picture. The link didn't work, but this is an article from CNN, a recent article that shows in Mauritania, slavery, the slave trade is alive and well. Last time I was in Ghana, a couple summers ago, I sat and watched the news, and they had countless stories of young girls. They sell these girls into slavery at 9 years old, and some sick fucker bought a 9 year old when he was in his 40s, and he bought the 9 year old girl from her father. Well, the 40 year old, I don't even know if I can call him a husband, whatever that thing was. Um, uh, I'm trying to think of a polite way of saying this. Impregnated that child, and she gave birth when she was too young to handle the pregnancy, and it really messed her body up real bad. So he kept the child, the 40 something year old, and discarded the girl, literally dropped her back off over her father's house. I don't want her anymore because it messed her body up so bad it gave her health problems. That's what we're dealing with. This was in 2024. We're dealing with slavery that's alive and well, and that was not in Mauritania. That was right outside of Ghana, where this sale of a 9 year old girl is going on. So, in conclusion, I just want to let the audience know that the man of tomorrow, whatever his name is, he changed his name, I think. Um, is disingenuous. He's not being honest, and he's playing some type of game. With that, go ahead, Nick.
Can you add him back up?
Why?
I'm actually
You want to
interested. I've
tag
never
team us?
really
You want to
spoken
tag
to a
team us?
Mauritanian,
Mm-hmm.
an English speaking one.
They speak French.
Wani, what's your
Yeah, I
thoughts?
mean, I could speak French with him, I guess.
I don't know. Let's go to Black Truth because
Let's go to Black Truth. Roger that. Go ahead, Black Truth. What's on your mind, brother?
Salute Professor Allen. Salute Sister Nikki, Sister Wani. I do think Agent Zero was ahead of me. Or if you did you want to go in order
oh,
or
I didn't see it. There's no hand
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Guys, raise your hands. But thank you for letting me know that, Black Truth. Agent Zero, go ahead, brother. I didn't see you either.
No problem. What's going on? I have raised my hand, but I don't know if something weird is going on. As far as the gentleman from Mauritania goes, he has no right to speak any kind of foul or ill will towards FBA women when he comes from a country where at 8 or 9 years old, they start force feeding little girls milk to make them fat because the men like fat women.
Oh my.
If y'all think that's a joke, go look it up.
Yes, it's true.
Um,
Because they're skinny as hell.
right. I seen. I think it was on Nightline, if I'm not
I
mistaken, when
saw
they were
it
talking
too.
about
Yeah.
where they were talking about the slavery in Mauritania, and they were talking about how they force feed these little girls, and the little girl was force feeding this child milk. I wanted to jump through the screen and hurt somebody, but a woman was force feeding this child milk, and the little girl couldn't drink but so much. She was beating her with a stick or with like a something in her hand. She was beating the little girl because the little girl wouldn't drink the milk. And as far as Dan go, I'm gonna tell y'all something that I noticed. Y'all ever seen I haven't seen the movie, but I seen a clip about the movie Schindler's List. And in this random clip, it was saying, in a world of black and white, look for the girl in the red dress, meaning that in a when you're somewhere and you're looking through all type of information and you're trying to find something in a whole sea of information, look for what stands out. And I'm gonna tell you something that stands out about Dan. Dan is real methodical about what he says and how he says it. He don't show any emotion. So I'm saying that to say this: somebody is feeding him this. Somebody is feeding him the things to say to come into our spaces and to trigger us. Because you notice something else I've noticed: another girl in the red dress. As soon as it's something that he comes in the room and triggers us on, he's the first one to raise his hand. He's the first one to request a microphone. Him and the other guy from, I think it was from Equatorial Guinea or wherever. Him, that gentleman and that crazy lady who El Presidente, I think they all know each other and they all work together. And Dan is a lot smarter than he's playing along to be. So y'all don't let him get to y'all. And I'll land my plane. And one more thing. As far as the topic of the room goes, give me just 1 second. I don't think we should feel guilty for them. The only people I feel guilty for over there is the children. They are cursed for what they done to us. The whole continent for what they done to us and what they done to each other. And their grand curse is slavery. I mean, and the sin is slavery. That's no doubt about it. And as far as us feeling guilty toward them or feeling sorry for them, I don't feel sorry for them at all unless it's a child. Outside of that, I don't have no kind of remorse whatsoever. And I land my plane.
Right. Right. I hear what you're saying, bro. And I believe that for those of you who believe in karma, um, when you look at Dr. Snyder, I don't have her book on me right quick, but Dr. Snyder says that basically the sum of West Africa did not object to slavery. Only a handful of people objected, and the people in history that is portrayed to object to slavery really didn't object. Like um what's her name? Queen
Queen
Nzinga.
Nzinga.
Yeah, yeah. Wani, what was the thing with Queen Nzinga? She didn't object to slave. Could you specify what was
Yeah.
her deal?
She didn't want her people to be enslaved, but she had no problem participating in it with other people that were not her people. So she was basically fighting the Portuguese from them enslaving her people.
Right, and Dr. Snyder in her book and her husband's book identify that, and they say that the slave trade was bringing so much wealth to West Africa that the people just became corrupted. And as a social scientist, I grasp it now. I understand why West Africa's such a hot mess, and it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I go there quite frequently. I won't be going anytime soon. My visa's still active, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna check out Egypt next trip. But I understand why it's a mess. What is a society? A society is a group of social human beings in a social contract. And the social contract in West Africa was shattered. There is no trust. And without trust, you can't have a thriving society, which is why they come over here to get around us because we have a level of trust in the United States. All the bad things they say about us, we have a level of trust and understanding that they rely on to get where they need to go. And I'm just letting y'all know that. Black Truth, you had something a comment?
Yes, sir.
What's going on, brother?
Salute to all of you once again. I saw Brother McCallan here. I don't know if he's still in here. I'm sure he has some great insights if he has some time to speak on this topic. But should we feel guilty, for Africa? No, absolutely not. Should Africans feel guilty for FBAs? I really don't care about the guilt factor, the feelings. I care about the tangibles. So, if they come with, I think Sister Wani was saying this, if they come with their 40 acres and a camel, if they come with their gold, rubies, whatever it is, and say, hey, let's make this connection, let's do this on fair terms, agreed to and confirmed by U.S. and U.S. and international agreements, nothing where they can take it back or try to finesse us like they're doing all over West Africa, in Ghana, in Senegal, and all these different places where they're cheating FBAs. If they're willing to do that, then, you know, that's cool. But I don't expect them to do anything like that in in these times. But I do want to add this. I believe Dan was saying something earlier about how we can trace it back with the Royal African, I believe it's the Royal African Company, something along those lines.
And he's acting like it's all organized and it was just those people.
Hmm. It was organized at that time, but you're not going to have the records of everyone involved. You're not going to have all the slave catchers listed. You're not going to have all of their descendants listed. And we have to remember, these people have become experts at finessing. So who's to say that their names haven't been changed? They haven't transferred their wealth to a trust, which they don't technically own, but they're the trustees of, or something like that. But there's a whole lot of finessing going on overseas, and I think that some of these very people who sold us are right amongst us, right here in the U.S. They're the very tethers who are on these programs like Joy the Weed, who just got canned, and all these other tethers who are leeching off of our scholarships, leeching off of the grant programs, leeching off of the business programs. I think a lot of them have fled their homelands, which are failed, and are up here amongst us, benefiting from our labor once again. And with that, I'll land.
Yeah, I found the book. Thank you so much, Black Truth. Dr. Snyder says free Africans as a group by no means objected to slavery. Enslavement did not offend their moral sense. So there was no moral compass in West Africa, according to Dr. Snyder. And she also says this, and here goes the problem. This is the destruction of their social fabric. The trade not only commercialized the economy and changed everyday life of Africans, but it also corrupted them. She says African kings sold wives whom they were angry. African parents sold children who they could not feed, and desperate Africans sold themselves. How in the fuck you gonna have a successful up and running economy when people are selling their wives that they get mad with? I'm mad at you. I'm gonna sell you. That
How does one develop this sense of right and wrong? Because we seem to have a very strong sense of right and wrong.
I don't know what type of culture is that where you think it's okay to sell a human being to another person that you don't understand. I've read books on the Dahomey, Benin, and in Benin, again to show off, to show how tough they were. The women in Benin would bring a slave out in front of the European and slit his throat in front of the European and lick the blood off the knife to show the European how tough they were. That's why I didn't give a fuck about that whole Woman King movie, because it was I haven't even seen it all the way through, but it was praising Benin. When people don't understand that Benin was like the epicenter of the transatlantic slave trade, and these women in Woman King were not our friends. They were actually they're arch enemies to the foundational Black American.
Do you think they're just doing these things to play in our
I think
face?
so. I think that was
Because
a
they know the history. So why do they keep telling us about all these people that we've come to realize are slave sellers and very vicious about it?
I,
who was that?
oh, it was me. Y'all go ahead. I'll wait.
Yeah, I think it's just a real vicious fuck you, and somebody was saying that on Robbie Blue Space earlier, and whoever said it was right. As a historian, I called it. It was a fuck you, Black Americans. I'm gonna laugh in your face. I'm gonna make you pay for a movie that exalts the women who would sell you, would march you to the coast to sell you to the French and to the British in Benin, and it was called Dahomey. And make a movie and portray them as if they're heroes when they really are the ones who fucked you over. Dan, what say you for yourself?
Wait, what
What
was that?
what do you say?
Yeah, I didn't hear your question properly.
I'm saying what's on your mind? What do you think? What do you think that West Africa owes FBAs because they sold us? Don't you think they owe us some resources? There's some type of tangibles as a good faith
I mean,
offering.
um, I would say it comes from a place of um community, in the sense that right now there's the Sanbra city that they're building, in the case of Ghana, for example. So I feel like it's that kind of initiative that would kind of make sense. But for money, like we know the African countries don't really have money like that. So in terms of tangibles, apart from land, I don't see what
I
else.
thought you guys had diamond mines and gold, and
Yeah,
but
but
we can't
it's not really
survive
mined
without the
ethically.
minerals.
It's not mined
Oh,
ethically
I
at
don't
all.
care. My ancestors weren't mined
Facts.
ethically.
Yeah,
So what do I care?
yeah, yeah.
We're going to be like you from now on.
Do y'all
I don't think I think you need to be better.
that,
I
that
need I
there's
need to
a
be
there's
better
a
than my
te-
ancestors,
yeah,
and you need to be
ladies and
better than
gentlemen,
my
there's such a
ancestors.
teachable moment. This is such a teachable moment. I want y'all to hear what Dan is saying in 2025. He said basically they can't keep their resources because they're unethical. And as a historian, I'm like, you're damn right they are. Because according to Dr. Snyder, like I just said, the slave trade not only commercialized the economy and changed the everyday life of Africans, but it also corrupted them. Guys, that is the original evil of the of West Africa is that slave trade. I think it's beyond morality. I think you're looking at a fracture in a spiritual cleanliness in that place. And Dan, in my historical opinion, the only way that West Africa is going to get its shit together is it has to apologize for that transatlantic slave trade. And not only does it have to apologize, it has to apologize with tangibles. West Africa has to give us something. Give us, and we don't want no land because you can't trust it. It needs to give us some type of peace offering to foundational Black Americans and say, I'm sorry. And once you do that, I think you have a chance of regaining your cultural cohesion. Because, like you said, sir,
Per,
you have no cultural cohesion at this point in time.
And I
per,
don't know if
What's your
they can
proposal?
give, I don't believe they can give an apology because they're not
They're
sorry.
not.
They have to
But
be,
we have
um,
apologized though. Multiple
yeah,
countries have
but it
apologized, bro.
doesn't, seem to stick, does it? Because it's not genuine, and we know
What
it.
what do you mean by stick?
People don't even remember.
Um,
Professor, can I get it? Can I get in right quick?
Hold on, let Dan land his plane and then you can come up.
yeah, no, I'm done. I'm actually done.
Oh, yeah, let so you go.
Okay, go ahead, Sohim.
All right. My God. Okay. So the bottom line is this, man. I'm gonna just talk real. It's only two things that these tellers do when they come into spaces, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's only two different things they do. They either troll passive aggressively or they just troll just all out aggressively. Now, what I mean by that is you have people like this dude. He already got Umar as his profile picture. I don't got no smoke with Umar. Some of the stuff that he says, I do fuck with, I do agree with. But at the end of the day, that's trolling. We know what Umar stands on, what he stands for, the who he bigs up, who he gives props to, who he pays homage to, what his talking points are. We know all of those things, and we know they don't align with our lineage. Even though, to my understanding, Umar is a foundational Black American. I'm not trying to.
No, he said he's Cuban.
Oh, he says Cuban. Okay, well, there it is. So that even furthers my point. The point that I'm trying to make is this: just by him having that profile picture, that's not on accident. That's not to just, oh, I just want to represent something. No, that's the troll. That's a blatant troll tactic, and he's trying to talk all soft like he laying on his stomach and taking a bubble bath like it ain't trolling, but it is. He's trolling. He's trying to be passive aggressively funny. He's trying to talk all soft and chill like he's not trolling. But just because you talk soft and chill doesn't mean that you're not trolling. I try not to use profanity in these spaces because I know things get hit, but I just want to make it abundantly clear. The FBA lineage, we are not fucking with Africa. Get that through y'all fucking minds. We are not fucking with Africa. We are not. We don't got no ties to Africa, no affiliation with Africa. We have no reason to big up Africa. We have no reason to praise Africa. We have no reason to go to Africa, besides unless we want to go over there and get some education and feel our own knowledge or whatever the case may be for to push our lineage forward. But all this go back to Africa, all of this trying to tether us back to Africa. There's no amount of trolling. There's no amount of talking, there's no amount of conversation or discussion that's going to get us to get on board with any type of programs that is where Africa. As far as the apologies, I could give a fuck about an apology. That's the issue to this day in society, period, in American society, in just society, period. We give too much merit to apologies. It's almost like when you call customer service and they charge your card $100, and you call them and say, "Hey, y'all charge my card $100. That shit ain't cool. I want my money back." What's the first fucking thing that come out their mouth? "I'm sorry." They don't give a fuck about your $100. They just trying to make their fucking money. They don't give a fuck about your $100. I'm the type of person, I've got to a point in my life. I don't even allow people to apologize to me. I don't believe in apologies. I don't think people are sorry. I think people know exactly what they're doing when they do it. They know exactly the intention behind what they did. I don't believe in I'm sorry. If you want to make things up to someone, then you figure out the proper channels to go through and make those things up to somebody. But I'm sorry, that's bullshit. People are not sorry, because if you was that sorry, you never would have committed the act in the first fucking place. So I don't give a fuck about no apologies. I don't give a fuck about no reconciliations or nothing like that. Yes, we want tangibles. Yes, we want the things that we're stomping for and demanding for and asking for. But at the end of the day, I'm sick of the fake, passive aggressive trolling. Y'all get in here with the Umar pictures. Y'all get in here just babbling and babbling and fucking babbling. Like, this shit is annoying as hell to me, because at the end of the day, if we're capitulating to this energy for content, for laughs. Like I think Nikki the God said earlier, like it's fun. That's fine if we're doing it for that reason. But I just want to make it abundantly clear to these people that that's all it's for. We're not buying into any of the tactics, any of the talking points. None of these Democratic shields, none of these black and brown advocates. We're not capitulating to any of those narratives. We know who we are. We know who our lineage is, and we're gonna stand on it. And it's only gonna grow stronger. We're not going backwards. We're only going
You
forward. And I'll land there.
Yeah, yeah, and uh, that was very heartfelt. I appreciate it. I wanted to kind of show again. I found a piece of scholarship that proves that African leaders really breathed life into the system of white supremacy. Check this out. According to Dr. Snyder, there were factories put in West Africa, right? Dr. Snyder says factories were vulnerable to attack. The Europeans had to depend heavily on the goodwill of African kings and their own abilities to persuade Africans that the European presence was a good thing. Isn't that a mess? Africa could have turned that slave trade around on a dime, but African tribal chiefs and kings corrupted West Africa, and they're still dealing with that corruption to this day. We're gonna go to Black Idaho. Hey, baby, what's going on?
No, you sure? I seen a couple more hands before me. Did you want to go to me first?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to talk, raise your hand because I just see I see Black Idaho, Black Truth, and Dan Quay, and the man.
All right, cool, cool. I'll go quick and I'll chill right here. Peace and blessings, Professor. How you
Doing
doing?
well,
How you
bro.
doing? Yes, Wani. What's the word? I hope you're doing well. Nikki, I hope you doing good. You good? I hope y'all taking care of business out there. So I guess I'll keep it quick. We keep it cool. Should FBAs feel guilty for Africa? Should Africans feel guilty for look, gang, I, I'm a critical thinker, Professor. You're a scholar. I'm a critical thinker. You know, the theories and dissertations and all this says is based on everything that we think of. I'm just not them people, Professor. So the sheer fact after 500 years that we always have to go back to like coddling Africans is so defeated. You know, it's like we got to get our people in position to take over seats and politician like congressmen, student boards, being mayors, governors. We have a situation in America that has nothing to do with Africa. You know, so when we always have to engage with these Africans, I just feel like I don't know, I just feel like oh my God, I feel like it's kind of mental illness, Professor. And it's like I don't want to like not being tuned or engaged with what's going on in this space, but we have a different fight here in America, you know? And I just want to know if people are putting gas in their cars and if they're ready to go out and take trips and live their best lives in America. Because I don't think like people are. Um, I had a couple things I wanted to say, but you called on me so quick, so I kind of forgot and I didn't write it all down. But no, after 500 years, I think at this point we're just kind of beating ourselves up. I Professor Wani, Nikki, I'm Black American by being indigenous to America. I have nothing to do with Africa. I have nothing to do with Africa. And I know that might offend a lot of people, but it is what it is, you know. And I'm living my best life. I'm having beautiful black children in America, and we are fighting a good fight. So I think we have to stay on task and stay focused on what we need and what we want for our people. And I think when these people come into our conversations, they're making us look up for aliens. They're making us look up for aliens when the devil is right in front of us, you know. So I'm gonna chill right there. If it's okay with you, Professor, I would love to stay on stage until I remember what else
Oh,
I
no,
wanted
no
to
doubt,
say.
and I'm really glad what you
Mhm.
said, Black Idaho. Idaho said that we're dealing with mental illness. There's no way in hell that me, Wani, and Nikki should be amongst the first people I've ever heard of in open venue talking about that African kings and tribal leaders were the initial supporters of the system of white supremacy. That should have been taught in the '60s. But Black Idaho said, Pan Africanism created a shield for this fact. The only way to grow is to deal with facts. Remember, if you go to the doctor, do you want them to say everything's going to be okay? You got a cold, or you want them to tell you that you got an illness, and if you don't work on it, it can potentially take your life. So that's what we're dealing right now. We're dealing with the facts. Go ahead, one.
So the European would never have been able to control the whole world. It wouldn't be able to control the Western Hemisphere had it not been for the easy procurement of human beings. Because they were over here, right? Why on earth would they go way over to West Africa to get people if they were here and there were people? Well, one reason is because a lot of people that they came into contact with died very quickly. And I'm not understanding why, because a lot of indigenous people were exposed to Vikings and they're white, but yet they did not die of disease in this way. I'm still trying to figure out why. Some say they didn't have the close proximity, but I don't know. They definitely were trading with these people and must have been close enough to give them diseases. However, we'll get back to that later. Um, I don't know what's going on, but I do know that if the white boy wanted to snatch people up, I mean, he did snatch up black Indians. He did snatch up Siberian uh, native people that were here, and they were enslaved, you know. And some of those people ran away and knew the lay of the land. But it's just odd. The whole thing is very off putting. The African was willing to do this for years and years and years, had to be stopped from doing it, and is doing it now. Just like with that age of consent, they had an age of consent of 7 years old in Angola, but the international community said you're not going to get any money if you don't raise that up. They raised it up, but they still do the same thing. So it's the same thing. Yes, slavery is outlawed, but they still do the same thing. And it's been outlawed since 1981 in Mauritania. And yet they're still selling them. And it was outlawed long before that in the rest of Africa. And they've never stopped doing what they want to do.
Yeah, yeah, Wani. Well, if I may identify before we move on to Brother Robbie Blue, if I may identify another issue that West African tribal leaders has kind of suffered with. I don't know if you want to call it naivete. I don't know the word, Wani, but if you look at Congo, there was a king called Congo actually had pretty good protection under the leadership of King Afonso. It's spelled Afonso, Afonso. But King Afonso was deceived by the Portuguese because the Portuguese said they were men of God. So the Portuguese showed up in their little priest outfits, saying, "I'm here to serve the Lord." And Alfonso let them come in to the Congo, even though they were coming there with the and brace yourself, ladies and gentlemen. This is kind of going to be hard to hear. The Portuguese in large droves came to West Africa to because they heard that there were women who actually washed up. That's a real thing. Dr. Chancellor Williams said that the African women would wash up, they would bathe. And once the Portuguese men found out that there were women who didn't wear tops, who walked around bare breasted, and they bathed, they were quitting their jobs and leaving their wives to go down there on a campaign to have what's the word we use? That begins with an R and rhymes with grape, you know. But Alfonso was tricked because they said they were we love the Lord and we're here to serve God. Like, what is that? What type of naivete is that? I don't understand it. They don't get naive with us, you know.
Right, they want to be tough and tribal with us, but then they act like they have no brain cells the minute the white boy shows up with his white skin. They may have the cargo cult syndrome where They think everybody white is God or everybody who has technology is God. They have that issue in some South Pacific islands where they saw some military men landed on, I think it was, well, I don't want to say, it was a South Pacific island, and they thought they were God, and they went and roasted a pig and did everything. And then these guys are like, no, 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 we're not God. We're just, we have a plane and we have to do something, and we temporarily landed. But they still, if you look up cargo cult, they don't care. They made a straw plane, and they also believe that they're God. And so I think these Africans believe that they're God as well. That's why they like the big white Jesus.
Yeah, there's a trust issue. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know more about this in-depth history, I write about it extensively in my book, which can be purchased on Our Story Publications. You just go to my Cash App $ Our Story and put $25 on the Cash App, and I'll mail you a copy of my book. It's a workbook that you can work through with your children or your family. I have ages 9 through age 119 is for the whole family, but I extensively talk about King Afonso in my book. I have on page 43, I say, quote, in the early days, the Portuguese initially came to the Congo under the stealthy disguise of holy men with the intentions to acquire slaves. However, once the word that the Congo was full of unprotected women and girls, shiploads of Portuguese men started to pour into the Congo with the main objective of rape. The Portuguese went on a raping campaign and said that they were here to serve the Lord. What type of people are these, ladies and gentlemen?
I don't know what they were doing back then. They did a lot of weird things that now we look at it like, oh my God, how could they have thought that way? And it's just like, I don't get it.
Sharshi McIntyre, and I'm about to go to Robbie, but Dr. Sharshi McIntyre, before she died, she was a historian. She said that European women in that cold climate would brag on not bathing. And Sharshi said, imagine how that made their men feel towards them.
But
Um,
didn't they think that taking a bath would kill them or they get a disease?
I don't know, but Sharshi said it's one thing for a man not to take a bath, but
No, it's not.
she said, imagine.
Nobody cannot take a bath. You must take a bath. Okay, so they said 3 times they bathed when they were born, on their wedding, and their death. Like, why do
Wow.
I care about getting a bath when I'm dead?
There's something about that bath when the Portuguese found out that these women they bathe. You mean they bathe? They had to go. They had to go see him.
Well, I don't understand. If they liked women that bathes, why didn't they just throw their women in the water
No clue.
against their will?
And
Real quick, Professor Wani. I just wanted to, real quick point. I just want everybody to know that come to troll the spaces, whether it's here, whether it's Robbie Blue space, Tariq Nasheed space, we let y'all troll. Y'all don't just come into spaces and troll because we are oblivious, or we're naive, or we don't know what's going on. Like, we know it's trolling. We look at this shit like amusement. It's funny.
well, I said it earlier. I'm using them as a tool to kind of identify, like that Joker that came up earlier. I wanted to kind of let him, use him for the audience to show how ignorant these people are. You got slavery going on as we speak in your country, and you're telling us that. I have slavery now, but wasn't involved in the transatlantic slave trade.
Well,
It's idiotic.
I mean,
well,
can
they
I like
just
speak on that?
they just
Like
they
clarify.
I would just just to finish my point. I just formally want to say that before the next speaker, because they will try to gaslight us into thinking that we don't know. So I just have to also reinforce for the record that we know exactly what it is. We peeping all the tactics. We calling all this shit out, and I just want them to know that we see you. We don't see you, but we see you, and we know what it
Correct.
is. And this is being allowed by the Professor Alons, by Wani, by Nikki, by Tariq. This is being allowed. You guys are not just doing some kind of secret mission infiltration. mission where y'all just coming up in these spaces and think y'all gonna spew y'all talking points and going to corrupt what we're doing. We let you do this because we think
Well,
it's funny and we think it's amusing, and we're exposing more and more of your rhetoric to our people from our lineage to point out people like y'all so we can continue to keep y'all out of pain. And I'll land there.
well, but just like, yeah, thank you, brother, and that's true. Just like King Afonso, on page 43 of my book, just like I told you, King Afonso of the Congo. A lot of these West Africans have the same sentiment. They seemingly think everybody's stupid except the white man. And like I was telling Wani, I don't understand it. Robbie Blue, what's on your mind?
Yeah, what's going on, brother? Shout
Hey.
out to you, Professor, to Sister Nikki, to the lovely Miss Wani, and to everybody in the space. Um, the first thing that comes to my mind in terms of getting to the square root is NIL, name, image, and likeness.
Hmm.
Basically, we were like college players who were getting exploited for our greatness. And now that we've delineated, what it is people are trying to come to the negotiating table to see if they can get a licensing deal to basically profit off our name, image, and likeness. They don't want to be us. They don't want to partner with us. The whole relationship is exploitive. But now, since we have standards and we're gatekeeping, we're like, okay, unless you're on code, you don't have a license, right, to even be in our close proximity. And I think that's what the difference is. Because before, think about it, all these colleges, it was just a one way. It was just unilateral with negotiations. You couldn't profit off your own name, image, and likeness. Other people could. So people can come here and say they're black and center themselves and what we're doing. Speak about Martin Luther King, put their feet up on the coffee table, and then even say we don't need reparations and what we need. And then finally, through education and just through delineation, because of all the anti-black sentiment, we just started realizing, like, wait a minute, we need to gatekeep and control our name, image, and likeness. And that's not only copyright infringement, that's tethering and that's lying and it's being deceitful. So and what's crazy and insidious is not only do these people want to have the license to exploit our name, image, and likeness, but they're striving to get a license to practice white supremacy. So they just want an exploitive license with us so they can reap the benefits of being associated with whatever's great for us. But ideally, people still want to strive to become a real American. And a real American is being classified as white. And white is just not a social construct, it's an attitude. And I'll land my plane.
Right. Thank you. Beautiful, Robbie Blue.
Robbie, I'm sorry, real quick, Professor. Sorry, Robbie. Do you think we, as Black Americans, are allowing these people to exploit us? I mean,
I think for decades we did. I think for
yes,
decades we
sir.
did because we were brought into the whole idea of a post-racial society. Like we instinctively are not distrustful of people, and part of the reason why we're not distrustful is because most of us will check you and beat your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like growing up in East Atlanta, it didn't matter if you grew up like Carlton or you grew up in the hood. You just got to stand on what you say. So, like in other words, you can get G-checked really quick. So that's why like most people are like, "Hey man, don't sell wolf tickets," but everybody else, what I'm saying, has the privilege when again when you try to cosplay and you're ashamed of where you're from and who you are. We've just never been chameleons. Like, Negroes don't have the luxury of being in the closet like gay people. Negroes don't have the luxury of playing the victim like white women. Negroes don't have the luxury of saying we're exotic and we come from somewhere else. We're like, no, we're cornbread, collard green fed, Lowry seasoning, here. We're from the soil and we are who we are and we know our people. And all it is we were being like Jesus. We made Christianity real. We were like, man, okay, brother, we love you. We made America's creed. Give us your suffering and your poor and all of that. That's how we've always been. Now it's like, wait a minute. You didn't even wipe your feet on my mama's rug. It's not that we're suckers. It's just you forgot. In other words, make white folks scared again and make tethers remember them African jokes. That's what that is. Like, oh, y'all forgot. Y'all thought, the nightmare was over from elementary school. Y'all want to play, y'all want to play the dozens, nigga. The last time I checked, a dozen of eggs cost you $30, my nigga. Like, you know saying, you fuck around here, you're gonna get Richard Pryor. You know what I'm saying? You gonna get roasted, and then if you get froggy, Big Hawk is gonna choke slam you. I'm gonna choke you out like a white boy wrestling. Some niggas will pop you. Understand me? Like that's what it is. That's the only reason why I'm alive at 47 because I know who to joke with, who not to joke with. I don't have to tuck my chain in, but I'm gonna look every man in the eye And I'm not gonna sell wolf tickets, my nigga. You know, especially now with cameras, people will knock you out, and you be doing the Lord Jesus Christ with your chin tucked into your shoulder, laid out like the Lord Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm not trying to get nails in my hands and feet for nobody. I love you, Jesus, but we ain't trying to die for tethers. We ain't trying to die for midgets. We ain't trying to die for snuffleupagus. We ain't trying to die for gay people with their problems. It's like everybody has the right to play victim, and all it is with these people, they wanted our name, image, and likeness. We want to sing like you. We want to dance like you. We want to be a passport bro and pretend that we are you until the girls see the real thing. You know what I'm saying? Because we're authentic people no matter where we go on the planet, and people know our spirit. And I'll land my plane there.
Excellent point, Robin. Excellent. Well put. Well put. Um, I want to go to some new speakers. Um, let's see. I don't know if I've ever had.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Starry. Starry Branch.
Hey, Starry. What's up?
Mm, sorry about that. Thank you, host, co-host, into the room. Really quick. Um, why should we feel guilty at all? Those people have their culture. We have ours. They have their land mass. We have ours. Um, to truly be honest, and
Uh-oh. Did Starry break up?
break up. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, there it is. Okay, can you hear me better?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Okay, we're not the same. Um, we don't even think about these people like that, at all. We wish them well and whatever they're doing, long as they're not bothering us. All that guilt trip stuff, for what? We see people with baskets of water on top of their head walking barefoot. That's their culture, you know. I think that the liberals, and I ain't trying to say it like that because they have their own agenda, set it out for us to feel sorry and look, they don't have shoes and all this crazy mess. Look, man, they've been doing this for billions of years. They be all right, you know. Shout out to them and doing whatever they gonna do, long as they leave us the hell alone. Now, far as business, if they want to do some business, I'm in for doing business. But that's about it. And I don't think we should feel guilty about anything. Let those folks be those folks, and let us be who we be, and make sure they leave us the hell alone and stay the hell away from our um, legacy agencies. I'm sorry. Stay the
Please.
hell away. I'm sorry. Stay the hell away from the Black Caucus. I wanted to push out something too. When we talk about the young lady, um, Omar Ilhan or whatever her name is.
Ilhan
Um,
Omar.
Okay, cool, good. Okay. However you want to put it. It's funny that, do you not notice that she has never spoke on Black American issues for the betterment of us? Never. She's always been the forefront of, like she said, Somalia. And um, by default, Minnesota, where there is a huge, extra huge population of Somalians. And that's very odd because you were on the Black Caucus. And my thing is that I'm gonna start looking up, and I said I was, but goodness, I have so many other things that I have my hand in to look up and see what these immigrants that are melanated uh, put the hat in the ring for. And I bet you my last dollar it was most likely against us. So I'll put it at that.
Yes, it
Shout out to Black
is.
being Black Americans.
You're absolutely right. It definitely is. They always try to get their islands fixed and they try to get money for disasters and everything else. And none of those things has anything to do with us. They have really diverted a lot of energy and resources away. Not only have they diverted things away from us, because we have to focus on their SARS police. Oh, really? You want us to talk about SARS police when we have our own police brutality problems? But you want us to talk about SARS in our government. And you want us to talk about Boko Haram in our government and have a whole Bring Our Girls Home campaign. You want us to do that, and it's not even good enough because they got on these legacy organizations and they have diverted the attention away permanently. And the only, well, I mean, I guess we have to get new legacy organizations. It's
Yep.
sad because we built these things to protect ourselves here in this country, and now it has been destroyed. And they're too arrogant and taken over to
Yep.
remove these people have no home training. They don't even have parents, in my
Yep.
opinion. Their parents are the same kind of people that tell the girls and boys to go down to the tourist area and sell their butts. Okay, so that's the parents right there. The parents have never told them, hey, these resources are for Black Americans. Don't you feel obnoxious sitting up there receiving a Martin Luther King Jr. award and your ass is Arab? Don't you feel embarrassed that you're a full blown Mexican receiving this award, but or a Chinese person? Nope, not at all. They just lap it right up. They don't have any manners at all. No couth.
Yep. None at all. And it's funny that you say that because I'm gonna piggyback off of it even harder. What you just said tells a long story. They stole your energy. That's deep. And now you cannot even get your legacy. You're fighting. Your name is on it. Your name is on the house. The property is yours. Everybody knows it. But you have to go fight to get it back. When your paperwork says who it belongs to. But that lets you know someone that came, that some group, some people, beings, or whatever you want to call it, came in and drained your energy. And now they're strong and you're weak. Just like a man when he's trying to be funny, going around laying with these different women like it's cute. Do you not know that you are putting into something? Something's draining your silly behind. And just like a woman that opened herself up to be injected with something. I don't think we understand what just happened to us or what's been happening to us. We look at Cynthia Erivo as she as this ignorant fool, and she don't know. You can tell she don't know no better. She just in the win. Kiki Palmer talk about, oh, I didn't think I was gonna win. Something's mentally wrong with a young lady that's able to disrespect us like we are, like they have, and drain us like they have, and receive an NAACP award. But understanding what we understand, they drained our energy. And then, not only that, the Democrats, who's behind it, is pushing the shit. They understand what's going on. That's why I don't have no mercy for them. And I'm not sad about the Democratic Party and what's happening to them. I'm not sad about. And as I end with this, I'm not sad about, or nor do I feel guilty about Africa. Man, they are who they are, man. They got a fucked up deal. They came in at the table. They was pulling some bullshit. Shit got raw. And shit didn't go as pleased. So now they looking at what didn't go as pleased, which is you and I, and they side eyeing that shit. Like, man, how the hell they these dusty ass niggas? Like you said, oh my God. And they play good nigga until we get where we going, boss. And as soon as I get where I'm going, I say, madam, I'll be back. I'm going on leave for 2 months. And when I come back, I can see if we have any room for these three Black Americans in that class. Go ahead and speak with my my admin at the front, and let them know to put your name on my list, who is also not like you. When we talk about not like us, I ain't to be funny. They looking at us saying, you're not like us. Because what we're doing is taking your energy and using your energy to steal from you.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned the NAACP. I was looking for some scholarship while you were talking, but I couldn't find it in time. But the NAACP, in long story short, Black Americans, just like we're on X formulating our own grassroots, Black Americans during the Great Migration were formulating groups um, to fight injustice, both from debt and from lynching, and we got it popping. But the NAACP, under the leadership of W. Du Bois, created a controlled opposition movement, um, and the NAACP always has had in the beginning had leadership of white people, and W. Du Bois was the only token Negro in control over it. So you're right. There's a long history of us of controlled opposition with these little groups, which is why I'm on X trying to let y'all know that history, although it doesn't repeat itself, Mark Twain says it rhymes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to look for the rhythm, look for the rhyme. I appreciate your submission. Mikhail, educate us, brother architect. Can you hear Mikhail? Um,
He went back to listener.
yeah, he
Hold
might
on.
he may be having difficulties. Mikhail, when you come up, and
Okay.
I'll let you come back in. Uh, while Mikhail's getting ready, let's hear from. I think T Way hadn't spoken yet. Go ahead, T Way. T Way, can you hear me?
What's going on, family? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
This is my new account since my last account was flagged. We're trying to get it back, but who knows if Elon and his minions are going to respond to my emails. It's so sad. Anyways, thank y'all for letting me talk, y'all. Great space per usual. Um, should we feel sorry for these people? Absolutely freaking not. Every time we turn around, we get new information, new um, confirmation of why we should not feel sorry for these people. You know what I'm saying? In fact, America does not do anything by accident. We do everything by on purpose. So I believe, I wish Africa had a better history on how they track their people. The slave traders are in this country. We all know that you don't make it out of a third world country by chance. The
No.
elite make the elite make it. The smart ones make it. You know what I'm saying? The powerful, the ones with pull. And now that we're older and we have more wisdom, slavery in the history is not that far back. The people of power with the Jews had that power from slavery all the way into today. So they made it out of Africa. They're here and they hold those same positions or those same opinions of them tribal leaders that look down upon their fellow population. They're over here holding and wielding the same opinion on all of our .orgs, all of our leadership positions, all of our in America is going to go out their way to only handpick people that feel the same sentiment as we see white people, Irish have they all have to bend the knee to white supremacy. You don't come here without bending the knee to white supremacy of um, pulling the same direction. So I wish they had a detailed history. I, I can't prove it, but I guarantee you those are the same tribal leaders that sold us that are in here that they put in position of power on these elected positions and in these boardrooms. I guarantee it. Those cause they're the ones who go over there. They got the Range Rovers and the big houses. And how'd y'all get this shit? Y'all didn't have this shit by happen chance. And their children didn't make it off that land by happen chance, happenstance. Those are the same tribal leaders, those slave sellers that are here holding their fucking boot on our necks today. Okay, I bet you it's a direct correlation because that's how America does it. They think 20 and 50 years in advance. This is not by no random bootstrap. We are the only bootstrappers on the goddamn planet. Everybody else is subsidized
Facts.
and handout by hand to mouth. All of them, government to mouth.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
let me support you right quick. What he's saying is absolutely true. How do I know this? I spent summer 2023 in West Africa, mostly in Ghana and Togo. But when we spent the majority of our time in the jungles with the tree people, now the people in Accra were the rich people in Accra and Apostle, not Apostle. What's the name of that neighborhood? Osu.
Also,
Osu, yes. And I noticed that these people in Osu and Accra, they had mansions with they had, I'm not going to call them slaves, but they had subordinates. And I noticed that their subordinates were people from the bush. Well, anyway, when we spent time in the bush, in the jungle with the tree people, these people were so sweet and honest. And the tree people found out a couple of us were professors and asked us to help them get, we want to go to school in America, brother. And I, my damn self said, man, I'll get you a scholarship. Give me your information. I found out right away that these people are heavily screened and they don't make it to the United States just without knowing somebody. Long story short, what I found out is those people in Accra and Osu, whose descendants were basically slave masters, they're the ones that make it over to the United States. So I'll be the first one to tell you that a lot of people in Africa are not vitriolic towards us. Matter of fact, from my experience in West Africa, the majority of the people over there actually love us and want to come over here and build with us, but they're not the ones that make it over here. Who makes it over here is the Joy Reids, the people who have vitriol and have a history of hating the Black American because we were not supposed to make it. We were supposed to die in that slave trade. Um,
100%, 100%. And
yes, sir.
it's so obvious because we hear these people who come over here like Kamala Harris. She is of the upper tier. It's by chance. 50 years ago. This shit, and they had this practice for hundreds of years of only hand picking what they wanted. You don't make it over here. But it's very luckily to make it over here as a bottom caste members. That's why all the bottom caste members are complaining about the tech world because the upper class members have the positions of power. It's the same thing Africans. These slave traders are here holding on all of our political positions. And they acting like they don't know how to speak black, but they can speak white all goddamn day because they know what the hell they do. I feel sorry for these people. And then for the minions on this app, Lord Jesus, the minions on this freaking app. You guys are so smart, and I'm so upset. Kyrie gave that damn moron, the Hebrew, the Israelites, a layup. The other day he held a space. It couldn't even be a proper dialogue because he had the goddamn tether. He's probably a tether his damn self. Not even what you could disagree, but you can do it in an intellectual, honest, debated way. And he keep tweeting on nobody can take me, nobody can argue with me. No, motherfucker, you don't want to have a discussion. Cause we have intellectuals that can go toe to toe with you that we want to hear the discussion. These guys are actively working against us on this fucking app, and they know exactly where they do. I don't feel sorry for them. We have spies in that land, spies above us, and their minions pick up and toe the line of their goddamn bosses because they want to replace us. And they have a devilish mindset in a devilish way. And the black people, we don't have that. Our people are scared to do something wrong. Ooh, I can't do that shit. And my family taught me eventually, no, you you make sure you win. We don't take no losses. Okay? We don't get over, but we make sure we don't get the short end of the stick. These people, our people are, and we have to train our youth and our loved ones not to be so easily always following the fucking strict rules. Because nobody follows the rules but us. Somehow it's in our spirit, it's in our blood, we're loving people. And these people are nowhere near cut from the same cloth because we're not the fucking same. We're not the same lineage, not the same DNA, and we can prove it with scholarship. That's why I'm so upset this motherfucker don't want to have a conversation in an even playing field. But I'll land it there, and thank y'all for letting me talk, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
So Professor, real quick, by your logic, when you say that um the ones that make it over here are not the ones that don't have vitriol, is that by coincidence? I personally don't believe in coincidences. I just really don't. So if there are still people that's in Africa currently and have been in Africa in the past that genuinely support and align themselves with whatever represents our lineage, and they weren't quote unquote allowed to be able to flee here, then the ones that were allowed, what are we really saying? That's my question. Like, is that by design? Was there some sort of contract? Did they have to sign their name and say, hey, in order to be uh allowed into, you know, the states, you have to be one of those that have vitriol for FBA people. You have to be one of those who look at us as a nakata or whatever the case may be.
Well, that's a good question, brother, and I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend like I have the answer for that. I I have a bias. I think it is what you said it is, but I also can't ignore the fact that a lot of the people from Accra and Osu and Cape Coast, they got money. So I don't know. Maybe money is an influential factor of getting them over here. But I did notice that a lot of the people that really were aligned with us did not make it over here. Matter of fact, several of the tree people told me that their student visas were denied. They were like, "Nope, you're not coming over here." I don't know what the criterion
Yeah,
is.
they don't like um they don't like tribes like that, to be honest.
Wow.
Oh, I see Mikhail is back.
Come on, Mikhail. Good to see you, architect. What's going on, man?
Hey, family, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Wait, he broke out.
Yes.
Yeah, it
He
got
broke out.
quiet. Well, we're gonna move on, but when Mikhail comes back, we'll just let him cut in. Come on, Mikhail.
Can you hear me, brother?
Yes, sir. I hear you now.
Yes.
How, how are you?
Doing well, man. What's going on with you, brother?
Just having my morning tea and uh, conquering the world. How's the Queens? Wani, Nikki, Marion. See, we have our brother Arthur, uh, Black, Starry, the great Usher. Uh, wow, just filled with beautiful, absolutely incredibly awesome minds. And thank you for the opportunity to speak. And I apologize for the internet issues. Um,
You just fine, brother. Thank you for coming up. Educate us right quick.
maybe a little enlightenment. And but what's okay? Should FBAs feel guilty for Africa, or should Africans feel guilty for FBAs? Well, so what do you mean, brother, Professor Savant?
Like, should we feel guilty that um Africans are have problems in their country? And should they feel guilty about selling people into slavery?
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. What in particular should we consider guilt regarding the Africans?
Well, brother McHale, I'm just it's kind of a play on words. I was referring to the commercials and the Pan African ideals that would uh, portray to foundational Black Americans for the last 35, 40 years.
There's a
Um,
lot of echoing on the
I
stage.
don't know why. Hold on one second. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Weird. Hold on. Am I echoing now? Okay. Yeah. Somebody's mic was open. I'm gonna unmute when I'm done talking. But um, I was referring to the idea that's been imbued upon us, particularly by Pan Africanists, that we're responsible for Africa and we need to help West Africa clean up and help them, help West Africans with their social justice. And I'm asking the question: are FBAs responsible for Africa? Should we feel sorry for Africa, or feel guilty for Africa, or is it flipped? Should West Africans feel guilty about us because they sold us? That's what I'm saying.
And real quick, maybe our people may, some of us may have survivor's remorse. I think I listened to Cam and Mace, and he said to make a comment. I looked at
That's
my account.
another aspect of it. I might call it guilt by proxy or white guilt by proxy, but it is survivor's remorse.
Yep.
And You could frame it that way as well.
Okay, I got it. So, brother Dan Quay, how are you, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good. What about you?
Excellent. I see you're working on your Mikhail voice. How's that coming along?
I was born with that voice. I'm just chill.
Okay, okay. All right. Okay. Question. Africans outnumber foundationals 350 to 1. Are you aware of that?
I didn't know the exact figure, but now I know. Hmm.
Okay. Who has the numbers?
I guess Africans do.
So what's lacking?
Education,
So okay, so if you were educated, then what would you do?
build.
Okay. So there's a thing called IQ. Are you um, in support of the Western perception of IQ when it comes to the so-called Africans?
Nope.
Okay, but you're not educated.
Um, Me in particular, or us as a
Africans,
collective.
Africans. You said if you had education, you could build, but you
Hmm.
said you don't support the the Western perception of low IQ Africans, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so your math isn't mathing. Um, let me let
I
me
think
let me.
IQ is different from education, though.
Okay, okay, I respect
IQ is
that.
innate.
Okay, let me explain what is meant by whose IQ is higher and who IQ are lower. This perception is based on whatever groups of people are building the most have the highest IQ, and whatever groups are not has the lowest. Which group of people on this planet are building the most?
I think that would be subjective.
It's not subjective. Which groups of people on the planet? I mean, it's quantifiable, it's measurable, there's data.
Building
Proofs.
what exactly?
Civilization, infrastructure, physical, digital infrastructure, innovation, economy. Come on.
Uh, I would, I
Don't
would,
don't Dan,
I
Dan,
would
don't
actually say
Dan,
it's
Dan.
China.
Don't try and insult my intelligence.
No, no, no. I'm not. I'm being honest. I think
So
it's
answer
China.
the question. Don't. It
Yeah,
depends.
China,
It's subjective.
China.
Who?
Okay, China.
No, the U.S. China's trying to, and China would be a second, but it's the West.
I mean, they made the miniature sun. I think they have the most amount of patents
China,
as we speak
okay,
at the
no,
moment.
we have patents too. We have IP.
Yeah,
We
but
have
they
trade
have more,
secrets.
is what I'm saying.
They don't have more. You're telling me that China, your beloved China, who is dear to your heart, can out innovate and are out innovating Silicon Valley? Is that what you're saying, sir? Hmm?
Yeah, I think so at the moment.
Sir,
There's more patents coming out of China as we speak.
you are aware that Silicon Valley in the U.S. controls Taiwan. Are you not?
Taiwan is not really China.
I, I said you are aware that the West controls
Hmm.
Taiwan. Are you not?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Dan. What rank is Africa in terms of building?
What? I didn't hear the verb.
How does Africa rank regarding development?
I would say pretty low.
I would say the lowest.
Hmm.
And if IQ, their perception of IQ is based on who's building the most, then that would mean that the Africans have the lowest IQ on the planet, right?
I don't think that's how IQ is decided. So I think that's
Are you are
incorrect.
you are you in the room with these
Am I what?
globalists? Are you in the room when these globalists determine how IQ is established and what basis and what premise IQ is established? Are you in the room?
Um, all I know is that IQ is pretty.
Okay.
It's pretty inaccurate. Yeah,
Where where
that's all I'll say.
where
From
did you
from
get
what I've seen.
where did you get your education from, sir?
Um, on
Hmm?
on what?
Where did you go to school? Dan, don't play with me. Where did you go to school?
Okay, I went to school in France. I went to school in Ghana.
Where did you
That's about
get
it.
your degrees that certified you as qualified to work?
Hmm.
And I'm presuming that you have a job or that you own your
Yeah,
own business. Where did you get the education that will qualify you? Where?
both Ghana and France.
Okay, it's France, sir. It's France.
It's
You,
both Ghana and France.
no one recognizes degrees or education from Ghana in the global world, brother. Let's
I
keep it.
mean, let's
No,
let's
no, no.
assume they don't.
I
They
know
would.
your institutions, sir. I know that your curriculum, primarily in Ghana, is Western and will soon be Mandarin or Chinese.
No, I don't think that will ever happen. I think that's unlikely. But I'll
Where?
say
Okay,
this:
where are you right now, sir?
I'm in Germany.
I'm in Africa.
Hmm.
I'm aware
Shout
of
out
what's
to you.
happening in real time.
Have you
More
ever
aware
been
that
to
more
West Africa, by the way?
we have. Yes, we have
Okay.
friends in Africa right now. I'm aware of what's happening more so than you are.
Um,
I see
Maybe in
Chinese.
Ethiopia, but
No, 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 no.
not
The
Ghana.
continent. The continent. I see
Continent is too
Chinese,
big for you to know what's going on
brother.
in Ghana right now.
I travel. What part of I travel do you not understand?
Have you ever been to Ghana?
I told you I have a team on the ground in Ghana right now.
Okay, but you've never been to Ghana.
I don't have to go. I'm on the
Okay.
continent.
I mean, I was in
Your
Ghana just a few
ideologies,
months ago.
your ideologies when it comes to nation building is a monolith. There's no formulas or difference of methodology from one place to the next. Essentially, you all think alike, with the exception of a few.
So do you think you know
Rwanda,
how I think?
Rwanda is dealing with the Congo right now. Are you aware of that, sir?
Uh huh.
What are you going to do about it?
Um, I think it's not necessarily my place because I don't have the power or the expertise to deal with that, and
Okay,
I'm not Congolese, and
okay,
in Ghana we have our own situation. So the only thing I can do is educate when I can
got it.
and support what's already on the ground.
So, why are people expecting the U.S. or the Western powers to do something about it. If you
Um,
don't,
I
if
don't.
you don't want to do anything about it, why should we do something about it? Why should we
Um,
feel guilty for not? Hmm?
um, I don't think guilt is the word I would use.
What's the
Um,
responsible,
Probably pity.
accountable?
Pity is the word I would use, or feeling sorry, and it's the same word I would use for me and,
Feeling
well,
sorry.
Black
Okay,
Why do
Americans.
so
you
you want
insist upon
hold on, excuse me, Wani. So you want us to have pity? You want the West to have pity
I
on
don't want the West. I don't
Congolese?
want anything from the West, to be honest. I just think that as humans, we can recognize when people are going through things and when
Okay,
some situations are above people. I just
okay.
feel sorry for the children, but
But you do know
I know
that.
that there's.
But you do know
Uh,
that M23 are your people who are killing the people who classify themselves as Congolese. So why aren't
um,
they? Why aren't they being humane? Hmm?
like I said, I think
Mm-mm.
this
I
doesn't
asked you a question.
apply
Why? No, no,
to
no, no. I
Congo.
asked you. I asked you a direct question, sir. Why are they not
Mhm.
humane?
I have no idea.
But you just
I
told me.
think I think
But
they I
you
think they have
just
their
told
own
me.
situation. I'm not too educated on that.
Okay. But you have this great education from Ghana. So educate me.
I can educate you on a whole lot of things, but not on that. I have the humility to say I don't know on
But
certain issues.
that's a good
That's
thing.
one of them.
I appreciate that. All right. Let me tell you what's happening, sir. China
Hmm.
is about to be removed from the paint. Are you aware of that?
Um, in what sense?
China controls 70 to 75% of the precious metals, particularly cobalt and coltan in the DRC.
Hmm.
Are you aware of that?
I'm not aware of that figure now.
Mm-hmm. Right. I predicted this will happen last year, and it's coming to fruition. And the only way to stop M23 and whoever is financing them, no one's accepting responsibility. So there's no guilt where there's no responsibility. But the only way to get China out the paint is to create a proxy war, get the heads of state to deny accountability, and beg the West to come in and save them. You know what that's called? Hmm?
No, I'm listening.
It's called stupidity. It's called low IQ activity. It's called no future for the youth. It's called flee now. That's what that's called. It's called looking for love in all the wrong places. It's called doing the same thing you've been doing for 2,000 years.
Hmm. Okay.
Now, the only thing I'm suggesting, if Trump shows up, because an offer has been put out there for the U.S. to show up and take control of those minerals, the way the U.S. is taking control of the Ukraine, is to make sure that foundationals get 50% of those minerals. How does that sound? Does that sound like a good deal?
Um, I'm not Congolese, so I'll let the
Comedic, hold
Congolese
on, hold on,
people
hold on, hold
decide
on.
for that.
Comedic, if I see your thumb go up again, I'm going to have you kicked out the space and blocked forever. Test me. Test me. I thought so. My dear brother, what? Please continue. I apologize for being rude.
Yeah, that's fine. As I was saying, um, I think this concerns the Congolese. I don't think I have necessarily the education or the knowledge to speak on it.
Okay,
So
okay, I
if
respect.
you feel like that's something you want to do, then I mean, go for it. If you feel like that's not predatory, um, if you feel like you know how you would source these minerals in a way that doesn't, enslave the people,
Well,
then
my suggestion would
that's
be
that's
that
good.
it's sourced ethically, and that if anything, essentially are given to foundationals, that we pipeline maybe 5% back directly to the people and not to your heads of states. And we keep the other 45. That's what I would do as a
I
foundational.
mean,
That
yeah,
that may not now that may not be what the Africans would do for us, but that's what I would do as your brother. That that won't be what the Europeans do. I promise you.
yeah, and I think what you're saying is, I guess, an example of Pan Africanism, in a way. You
Yeah.
disagree with that?
Pan Africanism? No, it's called for
It's
us.
called solidarity. It's called,
Well,
helping
for
brothers
us.
out.
Well, let me tell you what it's called for me.
Uh-huh.
It's called economic diplomacy. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
melanated, and when I see children and women having problems, that bothers me. In fact, I'm traumatized by it. But I'm not your prime minister. I'm not your president. I'm just me. But
Mm.
that's what I would do. You know, if you know if foreign
So
policy
you
was
feel you
passed, then
feel no
that's what you
sense of
would
responsibility to act when you
do.
see
Okay.
those children?
Going back to my original comment, there's 350 to 1 in terms of the ratio.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here to control your government or to meddle
Mm-hmm.
in your affairs. I see, observe. Of course, I love children, and the children are always in the right. But
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell your government what they should, or force them. It's not my responsibility, and I feel no guilt about that. Sure, if a child or a baby or a mother asks me for something, some money or something to eat, yeah, as a human, of course, why not? Why should I
So
say
you're
no?
doing this from a humanist kind of altruistic uh, point of view, or you're doing this because you feel like we owe you anyway, so you might as well get something out of it.
No, I'm a businessman, and everybody
Mm-hmm.
else is business. And my grandmother taught me when I was a child, business is business, baby. That's how she would say it. Your people understand business when it comes to dealing with the Chinese and the white man. But when it comes to us, this Pan Africanism, that notion is dead. My
Mm-hmm.
people need development.
I'm all
Unless,
for it. I'm
yeah,
all
I know
for
you
it.
are. I know you seem reasonable, but there are people who don't get it. And until they get it, then they're going to keep getting pressured by the Chinese, the Russians, the West, the Indians. It's in your people's interest, and you're a smart man. And I know you listen to me and respect me and imitate me. That's kind of cool. It's kind of flattering. Tell your people to align with us economically, and that will give you muscle to push or to get them devils off you. The
Well,
Chinese cannot compete with us. We will upstage the Chinese. The Chinese is not smarter than us. I haven't met a Chinese man on this planet that was smarter than me. I haven't met a group of them that was smarter than me. I don't know how they keep outsmarting you or your people, but it's not my business, you say. So, it's just something to think
let me
about.
let me let me let me ask this question or pitch it in. Are there black owned or FBA owned um, companies that work in mining and these kind of industries that could
Yeah, absolutely. And we could,
be
sure, and we could
yeah, so
subcontract
i'm
out,
i'm all
and
for it
we
if
could subcontract as well.
hmm
Yeah.
okay, so I find this very interesting because don't you think that I would prefer FBAs or Black Americans to benefit from the mining activities going on in, let's say, Ghana than Chinese or Indian people or Lebanese people.
Okay.
There's timber, there's
Okay.
gold, there's all that.
I'll answer your.
But
I'll answer your.
when,
I'll answer your
oh,
question, my
okay,
dear
go ahead.
and beautiful brother. Yes, I do. And as your prime minister, I elect you. I delegate you to go to your government and have that conversation with them. And I will support. In fact, we will all support. All 50 million of us will support you. So now you are the ambassador. See how that works?
Yeah, there's still an issue though.
What's the issue?
The FBA ownership, there has to be the companies. The companies have to be, there has to be a listings of some sort. If you guys have this whole issue of, oh, this company is not actually FBA owned, it's a Jamaican or whatever,
Okay.
you guys have to do the screening
Okay.
and all of
So,
that
no,
before.
there's no issue. There's no. Let me tell you how that works.
Hmm.
The U.S. is already in your country. The U.S. is everywhere. In fact, they're ubiquitous. You know, there's no changing of the guard. It's just okay. You're in those mines. Get ours out of there as well. It's simple as that. We could set up a
Okay.
block, we could set up a blockchain superhighway, right?
I mean, the issue
And keep
is
everything
the US
decentralized
isn't
and available to the
the.
public, and
Mhm.
get our resources. This is not rocket science. It's called political will. You, as a human being, you sit with us every day, right? And we delegate you as an ambassador, as an ally, to go make that claim to your government.
Yeah, I'm not so much into politics anymore. I tried working with politicians, and I don't think I'll ever do that again.
Okay,
But
no. Listen to me. Let me tell you
mm,
something. Politics is just activism turned upside down. And you're an engineer, is that correct?
no, no, I'm not.
Okay. You're involved in technology in some way, right?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That means you're valuable today in this paradigm shift. And the politicians, as we know them traditionally, are obsolete. So you can run your country because everything runs on AI. You know more about technological development than the man who's running your country. You and your young brothers organize as technocrats. You will control your cybersecurity, which is very important because, as you know, everything is connected on the internet. IoT, you're familiar with that, right?
Hmm.
Okay, you know that there's computation embedded everywhere. There's nowhere you can go and not see a chip being used in something. You know that your country needs, the continent needs their own foundries, semiconductor foundries, right? You can lobby the West or whoever you're doing business for that to build a hub of foundries or semiconductor fabrication plants. This is your world, man. This is what you've been waiting for. This is what you were born to do. Don't give this opportunity away to people who don't know what they're doing. Don't let them destroy your lineage. So I'm telling you as a brother, okay?
Hmm.
All right?
Yeah, I
All right, brother.
appreciate.
I appreciate you. And I apologize. It's
Oh,
long soliloquy. And I apologize and thank you, brother, for your time as well. I'll
Oh,
land.
oh yeah.
no
Appreciate your
problem.
insight. We're gonna get a couple more speakers, and then I'm gonna turn in. For the old lady
Okay.
gets mad at me. I think Fire Nagy.
Fire.
Go ahead.
He got knocked down, so he's back up.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Fire Nagy.
I want to say this.
Thanks for the space, Wani, Nikki, Professor. Thanks to everybody being present. I think we got to be the only group of people in human history that ever asked these certain questions. Hell no, I don't feel bad for Africans. I mean, we're on top. So what? I mean, we've all competed and run races and things like that, and nobody feels get bad for the guy who doesn't get out of the semifinals, or the guy who wins the gold, or the guy who doesn't place at all. That's just, I mean, that's the outcome of the world that they actually imposed. Um, I just don't. I get it. Our people want to be empathetic, but at the same time, we're the only ones in human history who feel the need to be empathetic toward groups of people that are behind us. Screw that. Okay, we won. We got ahead. Now, if the shoes on the other foot, they wouldn't think about us as a day in time at all. Okay, we got to stop this. There's over empathy for people. If it comes time for us to ever be on bottom, they'll help us get to the bottom as quickly as possible. Okay. And if it comes time to keep the republic afloat so that we stay on top, I hope y'all damn sure ready to do what you got to do to keep the republic on top. Because this life we live was a result of us fighting off other groups of people and realizing we have to be on top. So no, no, hell no. Africans, y'all Africans got the results that they actually that they reaped, and therefore we got the results that we reaped. We earned this. This is not an unearned benefit. We deserve to be like this. If the universe had a million different variations, we would still be in this place at least 999,000 times out of 999,000 times. That is a reality. Okay, we're on top because that is the natural order of things. We're more organized than them. We beat them and everything. So why should we be on the bottom? Why should we feel bad? They should just try harder, work harder, be more disciplined. Okay, I mean, be willing to sacrifice more. They got what they earned. We got what we earned, and we deserve to be in this position. I yield the floor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate it. Fire Nagy. We're gonna go to comedic.
Yeah, I don't like this narrative that we're going with where we're going against Africa constantly. You know, there's not a good thing, and we have Nazis like Wani on the stage. Wani was a Pan Africanist. Let me.
Hold on one second. This that Puerto Rican dude trying to pretend like he
Yeah,
FBA.
that's that idiot. I was about to
Yeah,
say that,
yeah,
Professor.
yeah. I don't have time for bye, dude. Get off my stage. Or like Tariq said, get off my phone.
Get
Um,
off my phone.
Eric John, what's on your mind?
I'm glad I caught you because that roach was gonna just babble. I can pay attention to a certain amount of these tethers because they be everywhere like roaches. But I just want to answer the question: should FBAs feel guilty for Africa, or should Africans feel guilty for FBAs? I think Africans should feel guilty for Africans for the chaos and the devastation that they done caused their people throughout the continent, let alone other people who comes from African ancestry. And this is the problem when it comes to certain stuff like this, when it comes to, people trying to make us feel bad for, you know, the chaos and the devastation that they done caused their people throughout, the whole entire continent, and they want to get us on board when it comes to situations in their homelands. See, I would have no problems with these people if they wasn't out here selling our ancestors and spreading us out throughout the whole entire world. See, they don't say anything about them trying to give us anything when it comes to trying to redeem themselves, but when it comes to them trying to get money from the European countries throughout the African Union, they just copying and pasting what we're trying to do with our reparations claims. So I will feel so much better if we delineate from some of these people. And for the ones that are actually on code and want to do something for their people, I don't have nothing bad to say about them. But for the ones who be in these Twitter spaces talking crazy all day, every day about what FBAs ain't gonna do and what we're trying to do, I don't have no respect for some of y'all people. And when I see situations and stories about your kids getting beat up in the streets and stuff like that going on, you should say something about that too besides just asking us about our opinions. It's just like the whole deportation process that's going on in America. Everybody want a helping hand when they see that people out here getting, you know, um, deported, which is a very good thing because America is cleansing the filth that is coming from these third world countries, and I think y'all should go back to your homelands and handle y'all situations. Besides just asking Black Americans for a helping hand, because every time we do something, y'all don't say a goddamn thing. But when we want to do something and do something for our people only, and that's what the delineation process is. Everybody got to hold their own nuts. We tired of helping all y'all all around the world, and I do want to say respect to Brother McCall because he broke it down to a psychological um he broke it down because a lot of us can't really understand certain things going on with these people because we don't help them so much throughout the test of time. So the delineation process is very well needed. Everybody needs to hold their own nuts. Yes, I don't like seeing kids being brought up in situations like that, but y'all gotta put y'all work in. Y'all gotta hold y'all own nuts. Besides niggas just spreading their butt cheeks out on bikes and shit and just smelling each other's shit. So besides that, I'm gonna land my plane before I have to say something because I didn't want that comedic cockroach to talk. He think he's a black American, but he's just somewhere, bussy popping for Goya powder. So I'm gonna just be quiet.
Appreciate you, Eric John. We're gonna get a couple more speakers. Black Truth, what's on your mind? And we'll give Agent Zero last words.
Thank you, sir. I don't know if you see Sister Miriam. She's had her hand up. I just have
Okay,
a quick
just
insight,
see
but
it.
I know
And
Sister
I
Miriam
don't
has
think
her
you see
hand up.
me either, Professor.
Who is
T Way,
who is me?
T Way.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't see y'all. So we'll go to Miriam and Black Truth. Go ahead, Miriam.
Why, thank you for the space, Professor. Hi, Sister Wani, Sister Nikki, um, the Atavis, Brother Mikhail, Brother Eric. So much firepower in this space, and many others who are here. All FBA Freedmen love in this space. Man, there's so many things that were discussed in such a vast discussion. It is. It's much deserved. I'm going to go and touch upon the title. Should FBAs feel guilty for Africa, or should Africa feel guilty for FBA? Okay, first off, no. FBAs um, have no reason whatsoever to feel guilty for the plight of others because we've done more than our share to uplift, protect, lay down knowledge, strategies, and even have fought on a lot of these people issues, humanity, civil rights, protections, and not just Africa. That goes for, um, many other of these ethnic groups. But since we're focusing upon Africa, um, like Sister Wani said, that it's by proxy. Um, if we do have any guilt, if anything, it's just the humanity in us that we want to see other melanated people do well, especially um, those we once shared ancestry with. Um, but they don't have that same intention nor action towards us. So, no, as Brother Eric said, hold your own nuts, clicks, and dicks and tits, because Captain putting on that cape and saving people is over. We're focusing on our own lineage. We're focusing on delineation. We're focusing on closing the guards, closing ranks, protecting our own because our very intellectual property strategies, along with many of our different cultural um, fruits and labors and talents have been stolen and looked upon and just cosplayed with these people are so disingenuous um, for those who are guilty, those who are writers. This does not reflect upon you, but if you're not willing to gut check or G check your own people, which I call G checking your own people, then who am I? I mean, I can't be Jesus on the cross for you, baby. I'm not going to be Neo or none of that for you because you have to simply get up and stand up and have a backbone and have a spine. and do for yourself. You can't always be the victim. You can't always cry wolf. You can't, when you're steady letting these people into your country, your continent, your many different countries, to pretty much pick flesh off of your bones like the vultures that they are. But you have a God complex with these people. You fall into servitude willingly. Not all, because I know it's some with a little resistance, but they are quickly quieted by your corrupt government, your corrupt people who are influential to your, I guess, your well being, who are greedy, evil, diabolical people who hoard resources for themselves and take it for themselves and leave the vast majority of your populations, you know, and destitute. And until the people wise up and stand up and rebel and willing to die, okay, not be killed for nothing, but willing to die for your own survival, then what do you expect for us to do? Okay, especially since you have betrayed us and did the most inhumane thing was to sell some of our ancestors, because don't get it twisted, we are the indigenous Americans. Okay, we were already here, we already existed, but over the last 500 years, when we mixed with some of our ancestors that did come from Africa, which was not more than the indigenous people who were already here. That's why they were able to blend in. And we had the ethnogenesis, that whole thing. And we became a whole different kind of people. But don't get it twisted that, we don't hold you all responsible, because the Pan Africanism ideology and mentality, Ben Age, have been um, totally ripped off, and our eyes are open. And that's a dead way for us. I'm not saying that we will never do business or anything like that, because that would be foolish to say, but you guys have a whole lot of self-reflection, soul checking and searching that you need to do. Look into those broken pieces of those mirrors that um that you need to, and gather yourself and correct yourself. Really do have a come to spiritual, whatever your many gods names are, moment with yourself. Get in contact with your humility and your humanity, that once existed before you were corrupted for so many, um, these last 500, 600, or 1,000 years. Because once you start selling off and doing harm to your own people, you perish, especially when you don't respect your elders or your children. Okay, if you don't protect them, then yeah, you're gonna fall by the wayside.
Miriam, I'm just letting you know. I love you, Bill, sister, but
Oh yeah, I
Our
know
brother
you gotta
Tariq
go
is
though.
on, and
You,
we're gonna run.
oh, let's do
We're
this.
gonna meet up on Tariq's.
Love you, family.
Yeah, I love you too. We're gonna meet up on Tariq's page. So I'm gonna let Black Truth go ahead and land his plane. Go ahead and land your plane, Black Truth. I also want to let y'all know, if y'all want a copy of my book. I have a workbook that talks about this issue. Um, put $25 on Our Story Publications, and put your full address and full name and zip code, and I'll mail it out to you in the next couple of days. And if you already ordered, I had several orders the other day. They're already on the way, so you should receive your book in the next couple of days. Go ahead and land your plane, Black Truth, brother.
Yes, indeed. Those were some good insights from Sister Miriam. I just wanted to add something real quick because Brother Mikhail was talking about the Chinese who supposedly have all this technology and they're so advanced. We are more advanced than you. We had the high IQs. We know how to do it better than you. These people. And the real reason why they have all of this technology is just because they have a whole entire cybersecurity team, a red team, a hacking team
They
that
stole
spends
it. Yep.
24/7 hacking all of our servers, hacking Silicon Valley, hacking military bases, hacking every single thing you can imagine, stealing
Facts.
all the blueprints, stealing all the chips, stealing all the infrastructure plans, all of the technology. So don't get it twisted. These people are literally copycat kings. That's the only reason why they have any technology even close to what we had. Sorry, close to what
That
we have. Just
that's
wanted to add that real
sorry.
quick.
Now go ahead. My bad.
You go ahead and land your plane, Black Truth. And that what he said was really true.
That Yeah, that's really all I wanted to add, just to give everyone context, just so you don't think I'm better than you. I had a high IQ and all that nonsense that we hear all the time.
Yep.
So just wanted to land right there.
Yeah, what Black Truth said was actually the truth. They do steal most of their stuff. Let's see. Christina's been waiting. Christina, go ahead and land your plane. And I think Agent Zero will have last words again. Christina. Christina going once. Going twice. All right, Agent Zero, take us home. Agent Zero, can you hear me?
Yeah, if he's not here, I just wanted to add something to what the gentleman
Go
just
ahead.
said. Um, the Greeks and the Romans did the exact same thing with Egypt. Everything that Egypt was creating, they just
Stole it.
copied.
Yep.
Down to the statues. I mean, I could go into details, but I don't think it's the time. But yeah, that's what keeps on happening. Um, History is cyclical. Things keep on happening again and again, and that's just one instance of it. So yeah.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I enjoyed y'all. We're rendezvousing at Tariq Nasheed's page. I will see y'all on Tariq Nasheed's page. If y'all want to copy my book, go to Our Story Publications, put $25 on the Cash App, and put your full mailing address, and I'll send you a copy out. Make sure you put your zip code. Also, Wani Spots and Nikki the Gods Cash App is in the Jumbotron. Show them love. I enjoyed y'all. I learned a lot, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Let's meet up on Tariq's. Peace out.